Afternoon. How are we all doing? How's everybody? Had good fun mornings watching the prices go up and down. Good, isn't it? Afternoon, Peter, Jerry, John, Ian, Christian. How we doing? Michael, it's time. Virginia, Baggy, Franco, JC. Euro's coming down hard, isn't it? Well, Swiss franc. Euro and Swiss is coming down. Euro's not having a great day today. Little bit of strength in that Swissy, and Euro, a little bit of weakness. But apart from that, not a lot today. We've got 3 ADRs, Aussie dollar CAD. ADR hits the upside. That's just happened. Reversal alert's about to happen on that one. Aussie dollar, US dollar. No, sorry, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, which we looked at this morning. So that's come off the highs. A bit big wicks down there, though, on that one. Not sure about that. And Euro odd. That's all we got. Just about to get a reversal alert on that one as well. But that did hit ADR and did get you a reversal alert earlier in pretty much the same place. So that's all we got today. Rubbish. Afternoon, Amy, JC, Marco, Brian. So news-wise today, we've had the German IFO, which came out as a negative, but meh, doesn't really do anything. The only news we've got today is CB consumer confidence for the US dollar at 3 o'clock. I doubt very much the market's going to hang around and wait for that, but we'll see. But that's the only news we've got today. And then after that, we're straight into the big news, which is the Aussie. Why is my pen not drawing? There we go. Aussie dollar CPI tomorrow morning, and then into FOMC in the evening. So, yeah, bit of a no news day today. Afternoon, EMAC, day trader, FX. News-wise this morning, not a lot. We had some news out of the IMF. Forecasting US, where was the US bit? UK GDP to grow 0.4, so coming out of recession there, and the US growth 1.8 on 1.6. So basically the IMF just kind of reconfirming that it's unlikely we're going to hit a recession. May not, don't know. But yeah, apart from that, no other news. The markets haven't reacted a lot today. Got lots of bounces off of this low today. Banked to $2,000 today. $2,300 just buying these lows. And I sold that high as well. But yeah, it's just, as you can see, complete sideways. Volatility expansion when Frankfurt opened, but no direction at all on the Dow. NASDAQ, a little bit of an up day. S&P, little bit of an up day, but then back down again. So really no movement. DAX today, the opening range breakout this morning. For those that weren't in the live room this morning, we took the ORB short, which is there. And yeah, very nice. So got one TP hit basically at 2R, and then the second one stopped out break even because we just went into rotation, but it's dropped back down again. So yeah, made a bit of money this morning, which is nice. There's nothing else I've managed to bank today. So this morning, for those that weren't in the live room, I banked US dollar Swiss. Is there. So flat on US dollar Swiss. It's gone absolutely nowhere all day. So I'm glad I banked it because TP was up here, but it's gone nowhere. So I'm out and flat on that one. And New Zealand dollar Swiss. So banked that one this morning as well, which was nice, easy RSI extension on the hourly. H1M5 mean reversion and out. That one's gone absolutely nowhere as well. Story of the morning. Nothing's gone anywhere. Thought feeder. Earnings. Yep, earnings today. Evans afternoon. So US session starts in 2 minutes. We've got earnings for 3M, General Electric, General Motors, and Spotify and Verizon pre-market. We've had these. So that volatility will come in at the open. And then after market, we've got Google, Microsoft, Snap, and Visa are the main ones this afternoon. So that lot is all going to feed into all of these pre-markets tomorrow for the open tomorrow afternoon. So it's earnings chaos now for the next 2 weeks, which is nice because it means lots of volatility, but lots of volatility can also be dangerous. So just be a little careful. And if we do get some massive rallies, try and hold on as long as you can because we will do ADRs. So market opens in 50 seconds. Just looking at upsides today for the Dow. Obviously, we've gone nowhere. We made new highs yesterday. Broke out. So this low here is a potential bounce point today. And obviously, the previous day's high is a potential bounce point. But we've not really had a rest for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, stroke 6 days now. So kind of due a little bit of a drop, aren't we? But we'll see. We'll see where we go. Right, 10 seconds to the open. So a bit of volatility coming in at the open. We're right down at this support. So we're off. Big kick out the top on the Dow there. NASDAQ's trying to break long. S&P not going anywhere. So a bit of volatility coming in. We got that news at 3 o'clock. So I doubt very much the market will wait around for this, but you never know. We might get a whippy half hour. So we'll see. Everything's struggling a minute at the minute to get anywhere, really. Okay, NASDAQ's gone long. S&P, if you're taking the 15-minute pre-markets, basically, they're there. 15-minute pre-market on the Dow is actually the 5-minute candle as well. It's an engulfing of those previous two. So long on those two. Not really gone anywhere on the S&P at the minute. Very, very whippy open. Give it a few minutes to settle in, but lots of volatility, but no direction yet. So obviously with the earnings, there doesn't seem to be any massive earnings that is going to be making a massive difference today, I don't think, from what I've seen. So NASDAQ's having a bit of a rally, but nothing else at the moment is going anywhere. We're really waiting for Google and the big players. Very volatile on the Dow. See where we go on the 5-minute range. Stopped long, covered 3R on the short so far in EU. Good job, Brian. Afternoon, Steve. Amazon to buy iRobot. Are they? What's iRobot? What's a TV program? Morning XR update.news or afternoon. So the Dow just tapped into that last week's high, basically. Straight into last week's high and bounced off of that. So we'll see if we use that as a resistance. So this is the level I was saying. Potentially we might find some limits at last week's high. Failing that, we've got the previous day's high here to the downside. So potentially, if we're going long, this might act as support. That might act as support if we're going long. That is assuming they want to pull back before they go long. Obviously, they might just fly out the highs, as the NASDAQ's done. So it's certainly looking bullish at the moment. We bought that that high, but seems to be struggling in any direction at the minute. Colonel Pinecone, oil back to 75. So oil inventories are tomorrow. As I said this morning, we're either going to pull back, I think, on that, or that is the pullback, and this is the second leg. So 75 would still be a higher low. Could be. Don't know. I'd be looking for longs on it. But you are tapping into resistance at the moment, which we looked at this morning. So this area here, which is where we gapped up. That's what we've tapped into, which is what we're bouncing off of. So I think certainly there is chances of a pullback. I think 75 might be pushing it, but you never know. It can go where it likes, but I think that's the ultimate target now, 83.5. Point. Come on, Dow, make your mind up. So Dow, on the pre-market, Dow is a complete whipsaw today, up and down, and looking like he wants to go long, but we'll see. 20 seconds left on the opening range. So NASDAQ, if you took the NASDAQ pre-markets, your quid's in. Either way, whether you took the 5 or the 15, you've got 1.5 R on the pre-markets, 2 R on the 5, 1.5 R on the 15. Pre-market, that is. NASDAQ, Dow rather, you've been whipsawed to death. So you'd have probably lost both of those, or at least you'd have been out. Yeah, you're probably out of the short, aren't you? Back in sort of the long, so you're probably long the Dow. So there's your 5-minute ranges. So S&P's gone long. Let's see where we go on these two. Hopefully they're not going to hang around for that 3 o'clock news, as I say, but you never can tell. Okay, Dow's going for the 5-minute. Trying very hard to get that break done. NASDAQ's long. Lovely break on the NAS today. So let's have a quick look at upsides on these. So NASDAQ obviously is the one that's had the pullback. The rest haven't. So if we're breaking long on the NASDAQ today, that high there before these propulsion gaps is your obvious double top, which is previous day's high. Failing that, we've got this accumulation here. We got a gap down there as well. I didn't see that at 150 ADR. So looking for the previous day's high as a potential resistance. Failing that, I suspect we'll probably break through into this area, which is 125 ADR. So it depends how much movement it's got. Downside, obviously, is yesterday's low. So if we break to the downside, we're watching a bounce down there. Struggling, though. Struggling to go long, isn't it? We're up at the Globex high. So this is a new high of the day. So we'll see if we've got enough momentum to get out that high. Dow is also struggling at the highs. S&P seems to be just grinding away. S&P is like your steam train. Just chugs along. This thing's like a schizophrenic goat. What that is. Never seen a schizophrenic goat, but anyway, just what came to mind at the time. Franco, British antitrust regulations cleared Amazon's purchase of robot vacuum maker iRobot on Friday. Oh, it's a vacuum maker, is it? iRobot. Oh, okay. I thought it was the program, the TV program iRobot. 1.7 billion deal for a robot vacuum cleaner. There's hundreds of those on the market. What's so special about iRobot? Same as those like robot hoovers and robot lawnmowers. So part of the fun of mowing the lawn is getting out and getting in the sun. In the UK it is anyway, because we don't get much of it. Do gold. Yeah, I'll do gold in a minute. We'll have a look at the FX market in a minute. Just want to see where these break to. Risk-free on the NAS, Brian. I think you may be okay there. Hopefully, it just pulls back and rallies off the back of this. Everything feels like it wants to go long, but there's not a lot of directional bias at the moment, is there? It's like there's a big fight going on. It does look like it's going to break long. Afternoon, Burke. You're thinking of iCarly. I don't even know what that is either. Diamond, iRobot does more than just Roombas. They also make military bots. Oh, I see. Oh, it's a bigger company. I've never heard of them. It's a film and a TV program, isn't it? Or whatever. That's all I've heard of. Oh, Amazon gets data about your house. That's quite probable. Yeah. Knows your room dimensions by your Hoover. Clever. Not only monitoring everything you do and say with Alexa, it's also now measuring your rooms so it can sell you carpets at the right size. Clever. Big Brother is watching. Big Brother's never not watching, is it? Lab started by a group of students out of MIT. Good for them. Now that's a payday, isn't it? How much was it bought for? 1.7 billion. That's payday. Right. So the breaks are all struggling today. So there's your first 5 minute candling. We've closed back inside the opening range, just about outside on the S&P, but we've closed back inside the opening range on the Dow and the NASDAQ. So no momentum. So we'll see. It might be a slow one, grindy one today. We'll see where we go. Pulling back at the minute. Oh, big pullback on the Dow. Very big pullback on the Dow. See where we go. We'll have a look at the FX pairs while we're waiting for that to decide what it wants to do today. Can you show me your RSI levels? There you go. Right. So, ADRs I've kind of covered, but Aussie dollar CAD is an ADR hit to the upside. Just be careful with anything Aussie you enter. Obviously, you're entering ahead of CPI tomorrow, so the CPI figures when they come out for the Aussie could drive this for days. It may do nothing. It may go parabolic. So just be careful with any Aussie CADs you enter in. If you're going to do a scalp short on this, your reversal alert, you haven't had an entry yet. Your reversal alert hasn't triggered yet, so there's not actually an entry. But if that does trigger as a short, just bear in mind if you don't get this into profit and close it out by end of day, CPI figures are hitting tomorrow and you might get slammed on it. Same with the Aussie New Zealand. You've had your reversal alert on that. That's playing out very nicely. I'm short on this already on the H1M5 mean reversion, which was first entry was back here last week. Second entry taken there. It's been very slow. So 1, 2, 3, 6 days, and we've literally done that, which is probably about an ADR. 52. It's not even an ADR. 3/4 of an ADR in 6 days. So this is going nowhere at the moment. But same thing. Your reversal alert has triggered short. You've had your M5 entry on the 5 minute chart. Hello. So that's triggered there. So that was your entry there. You did have an entry. That's touch and go whether that would have been an entry depending on your settings on the indicator. Other than that, that's your first entry. So that might have been your first entry depending on how you got your indicator set up. That's the second entry today. So they're in the same place. So it's in profit. And Euro odd. So again, all three of these Australian dollar, all three of them at peril tomorrow morning when the CPI figures come out for the Aussie. So just be aware of that if you're going to take those today. Dow looks like it's trying to go long. Oh, no, it's not. My market's frozen up. Forget that. It's down. Wait for that to unlock itself in a minute. So, yeah, big drop down on the euro odd. Obviously, the euro at the moment is having a bad day today. So, euro odd is coming down a little bit stronger because of the euro weakness. So those are your three ADRs today. RSIs, we've got Euro CAD extended on the 4 hour. The downside, again, extended to the downside there, ready for a look, push up. I've got a Euro CAD. I've got 2 positions on that one at the moment. Average is there. So waiting for a pullback up into those propulsion gaps. So that's nice. Entry. And Euro US dollar, same thing, extended on the 4 hour to the downside. That's just getting down to your 20 level now. So we're going to light up there potentially in the next 4 hour candle. And then obviously this support here, which is your previous month's high, potentially may act as a support, that previous resistance, for a new leg up into there. And then it's either going to be that or that. So long on that one, got 2 positions on that one as well. So that is it for your RSIs and your ADRs. There's nothing. And as I say, there's not much point in me going through full analysis on anything else. You're not getting any RSI extensions on the hourly because nothing's really moving apart from a couple of euro pairs. And obviously, the market isn't going to want to put a ton of cash into anything today because we have got major CPI and interest rates coming up over the next 24 hours. So 48 hours, really. So we've got the euro rates and the US rates back to back straight after the inflation figures for Australia. So, you know, I doubt very much we're going to get a huge movement today, but we will see. We might get something this afternoon. Dow looks like it's just broken to the downside. There we go. Well, not broken to the downside. We're back inside the initial 5-minute opening range. NASDAQ's gone long. S&P's gone long. Dow's not really sure what it wants to do. Very little volatility today. Why has only my US 30 trades been put on when I has the exact same set file across that and the NAS? I don't know. I'll answer that one. Afternoon, Gordy. Afternoon, Firechrist. If I remember, didn't you have the same problem with the new version of the EA? No. No. I got a nice opening chunk gain on the odd US in and out. Yeah, we've had a bit of movement on the Australian dollar today. Obviously, has been pretty lively because obviously they're just positioning themselves ahead of tomorrow, or they're getting out of positions or positioning themselves ready for the next move ahead of tomorrow, but nothing massive today. Aussie US out of Asia got a bit of a rally, but London dead, all dead. Boring today. Right, Dow's holding up inside the range. It does look like it might want to break a little bit short. These are really struggling today to get. I mean, it looks good. We've got bull candle after bull candle after bull candle, but the actual rate of ascent is not great today. Not running away, is it? A bit like the rest of the market. If anybody's got any pairs they want to look at, let me know. I'll have a quick look at gold for whoever it was that wanted to look at gold. We double topped off of the previous month's high. We pulled back into balance. Price discovery failed. So where we go from here is basically FOMC tomorrow evening. So this will stay like this, might push up a little bit and back or down a bit or whatever, but it's going to stay roughly around here until tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock when we get FOMC figures. And then dependent on whether the market decides to rally tomorrow, and that's going to depend on what the Fed says, we will get obviously the next US dollar move, which will go one or the other. But I really can't figure a US dollar bias at the minute. We've been sideways for a good 6-8 weeks now. So the US dollar's not got anything. So it's really a case of whether I've got a feeling it's going to drop a little bit. The US, we're approaching that terminal rate. We're going to get that extra 0.25% tomorrow. I'm pretty sure we're going to get the 0.25% up to 5.5. The Fed is then either going to come out and say 5.75, we reckon is one more shot and we're there, terminal rate, or they're going to say, judging by the looks of current inflation dropping, we probably won't need that. Either way, both of those scenarios are negative US. So I'm not holding out too much hope for a rally in the US tomorrow. It's more likely, I think, going to remain neutral or drop. So that would indicate bullish price action on gold back up into this high. But we'll wait and see. They're notorious for flipping their decisions based on the wind direction. So anything can happen tomorrow. Pound US dollar, Franco. So that's sideways at the moment. I've got longs on, waiting for that push back up into the highs. Again, US dollar tomorrow, I think more likely bearish than bullish or neutral. Might be surprised. But pound definitely should be bullish. We've got at least another 0.5%, 0.75%, maybe more to come out of the pound. So it's definitely still bullish. There's no reason why we shouldn't be bullish on the pound still. Interest rates are going up by another 0.75 to 1%. Interest rates are starting to peter out and potentially go flat with the US dollar. So the bias is long pound, short US. So better looking for buys than sells. And we're in the middle of a nice pullback at the moment, which is why I'm in long. So the EA got me in on that entry, or there rather, and second entry taken there, and have gone sideways for 3 days because we're waiting for FOMC. So I will be here tomorrow. Pretty much guarantee I will still be here tomorrow. And then hopefully we get that drop on the US, but we'll see. Indices are really dead today. This Dow, we're still inside the 5-minute opening range. We are painting lower highs and lower lows for the last 15 minutes. We've just put in a higher, barely a double top really. So the Dow is looking a little bit more bearish, but the buyers, they are buying up every single drop. So sellers are making progress, but tough going today, very tough. NASDAQ's just pulling back. No volume today. These are the days where you look at this and you think, screw it. Bank $4,000 so far this week. Take that 500 and walk away. Doesn't seem like it wants to go anywhere, does it? Tony, am I correct in thinking my $100 a day strategy for Top Step, $100 a day strategy for Top Step would never get me a payout, as I need at least $200 profit 5 times before I can collect? I don't know. You'd have to check their rules, but you shouldn't have a $100 a day strategy. You should have a strategy that tries to make money out of the market, not make $100 a day. You can't make $100 a day. Market won't. It's not a cash machine. You can't just go, I have $100 a day, please. It doesn't work that way. Some days you make 10, some days you'll lose 3, some days you'll make 5, some days you'll lose 5. Net, you want to be positive. Can't have a $100 a day strategy. The market's not going to allow it. Look at the Dow today. How are you going to make $100 out of the Dow today? It's not going to let you at the minute. Unless this thing breaks long right now, you're not going to make $100 out of the Dow today. If it breaks short, it's got to break short by at least twice the distance of your stop loss breaking long to be able to get any money out of it, isn't it? So 50 points out on the NQ. Good job, Brian. That's the way to do it. Get out while you've got the money. It does look like it's breaking long now. These markets just dead today, isn't it? It's struggling across the board. We're out the highs of Globex. That I just get a feeling we're going to hit that previous day's high and it's just going to go. So if you're long, in fact, I might actually adjust TPs on this. Yeah, my TP is just outside the previous day's high, which is this. You can't really see it. It's this blue dotted line. It's inside a propulsion gap. I'm going to pull both TPs down, I think. I would be happy with that today, the way this price action's going. S&P, we've already come off yesterday's high. There in Globex, it's just not going anywhere. Now it's just nothing. I think today is a get out and go and do something else day today. Either that or it's just a real slow grind and put you through a load of pain. Peter, if there are 3 trades on the pound CAD and the latest one is in good profit, is it worth it to bank one and wait how the rest works out and eventually scale back in? Yeah, you can do that. So up to you. I used to do this a lot. So pound CAD, I've got 2 positions on at the moment. So there's one on here and there's one on here. So let's say, for example, I'd taken another one on there. If this pushes up now into ADR today, for example, and hits a double top, there's nothing wrong with taking that off and banking it, because if what's going to happen now, if this moves up to there and you bank that, you've got that green in your P&L, job done, good one. You've got 2 positions on, they're not far away from break even. So there's 2 scenarios that are now going to play out. Either price is going to pull back down to where you had your position on, meaning that you can put it on again. So you're going to bank some and you've got the opportunity to put that on again. And if it moves up again, bank it again, make twice as much money. If that scenario doesn't play out, the other thing that's going to happen is you're going to bank that one here. Yeah. And then these 2 positions you've still got on, if the market then pushes up to here, you're going to bank those 2. Win-win. Yeah. So you can't lose. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing that. You just obviously need to be aware that obviously your average price will jump up when you bank one. So I used to do it a lot. But what I found was, and there's no, again, it's no real advantage or disadvantage, but what I found was I've got 1 position there and 1 position there. So let's say, for example, I had taken one there. The average is currently sitting here. If I'd have taken that trade, my average would be sitting here. A profitable exit on all 3 positions there makes you probably 0.5%, 0.75%. If you take this one off and bank 1/3%, 0.5% or something on that 1 position alone, your average drops back down or jumps back up, basically, meaning that you've got further to get out. So what could happen is it could hit that double top and then bounce off. that's where you would have exited the whole position and walked away and gone, fantastic. That was a lovely little trade with 3 entries. But what actually happens is you take a profit on that, it pushes back down, and then you stay in this trade for 3 or 4 weeks while it goes sideways or just drops a little bit and pushes up and drops and pushes up. And then eventually you'll get a push weeks down the line. Whereas you could have been out of that today if you'd have held it for that little bit further. So again, there's no real right or wrong answer. It's how is your P&L looking? Do you need to bank stuff? Do you want to do some drawdown control? Are you worried about a level, double top or whatever? Or, you know, make up your mind, basically. So I've got nothing in profit. But look, this New Zealand dollar CAD, for example, at the moment is a good example. So I've got 2 positions on. This is pulling back at the moment. It was up there. So what I could have done is I could have banked that there as we hit previous day's high or close to previous day's high, and taken, I don't know, probably 0.3% in profit. And if this then pulls back down to here again, I'll add it back on. So my average would come back to there. But if I've taken that one off, I've then got to wait for price to get all the way up to there, which is where my target is anyway. There's never a right and wrong. News is coming out. Someone just said fire price 30 seconds, 17 seconds to news. So let's just watch the indices. Dow's coming down. Oh, we've had a bit of a stab up on the S&P straight into that high, previous day's high. There's your news. Not very impactful. Some alerts going off. ADR on Euro Swiss has just hit. Okay, ADR Euro Swiss. So your reversal alert's going to be there. That's really extended anyway, so I'm already in this one. 28 pips. It's only half an ADR from my last entry. No impact. News, it doesn't tend to do much to business confidence figure because it's Euro Swiss looks like an opportunity. Yep, Euro Swiss is good. So you got an H1 RSI extension now. That's extended below the 30, basically where we were here. So you got a little bit of divergence there. Flat RSI, negative price, bullish divergence. I'm in, as I say, I'm in 4 on this actually. So if you look at where this is potentially going, sorry, I got really itchy nose. We've got these levels we looked at previously here. So we bounced there multiple times, then we kind of whipsawed through it, hit it on the way up, accumulated back at it, then drove up. So it's an area of interest that price rejected previously. This is our first retest of it since we were there. So there is potential that we might find some price action here, but failing that, this has got a drop ahead of it. So we're really keen to know what's going to happen with these euro figures on Thursday. So we should get the interest rate rise on Thursday for euro. The trouble with the Euro Swiss is obviously there's euro rate going up to 4.25. So the trouble with the Euro Swiss is when the euro rallies, the Swiss franc rallies, and it depends which rallies harder. You would expect the euro to rally harder on euro interest rates, which it should do. But what you'll find is it won't go flying up there because the Swiss franc will strengthen with it. So you tend to get that kind of price action. It grinds itself like that. It grinds rather than spikes. So hopefully if we get that positive news, we might find it's the turning point starting. But yeah, it looks good. If you're not already in it, obviously it's an ADR hit. It's an RSI extension on the hourly. Double bubble, double reasons to get in. RSI, ADR, and then Oh, missed actually like 30.34. So we missed it by 0.34. Close enough. Euro odd is now also an hourly RSI extension. So that's just triggered on the 30. And Euro US dollar, these are the ones we looked at earlier. That's embedded. Oops. And obviously on the 4 hour, it's extended as well. There we go. Dow looking like it's starting to reject these lows again. Look at these wicks today. Just terrible. Whipsaw. Total whipsaw. So we're now what? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes in. We haven't got outside the opening range yet. No volume. No volume today. Hopefully it'll follow these guys' example and decide it wants to go somewhere, but yeah. I've not really got anything else to cover today because it's a grindy old day today. So I don't think we're going to get a lot of movement this afternoon. Anything we have had, there's a good chance it might start to unravel. This euro is selling off hard into the rate announcement on Thursday, or into FOMC. So any movement we're getting today is just repositioning ahead of tomorrow. Australian dollar, obviously, CPI tomorrow, so we need to be aware of that. But other than that, I doubt very much there's going to be an opportunity to get in or out of anything much. So worth having a look at tomorrow in more detail after the CPI figures on Australia and see if we've got any movement off of those. But tomorrow will be the big day. Well, say tomorrow evening. Tomorrow in the day, probably not a massive amount either. But FOMC tomorrow evening, we will get the movement. So hang around today and wait for tomorrow morning. Any Australian dollar you have in profit or New Zealand dollar that you have in profit, bank it. I would before the news. So New Zealand dollar CAD there, for example, let's say, for example, that is sitting in $180 profit. I will bank that because either that is going to disappear into drawdown and I can't bank it anymore, or it's going to go my way, in which case that one goes into profit and I'll bank that one as well. So it's a win-win situation. So anything you've got on Aussie and New Zealand, if it's $50 in profit or, a minuscule amount, leave it. But if you've got like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3% in profit, stick it in the bank. It all adds up. You bank 3 of those, you just made another 1%. All adds up over time. So just done some drawdown control by the looks of things. Profits dropped to 8.2 today. Euro Swiss, just done 2 drawdown controls on the Euro Swiss. Okay. So that's pushed down below ADR now. So just taken 2 entries, 2 DD controls off. So 0.5%-ish DD control. So just reducing the risk, reducing the positions, sizes. This S&P, I'm just going to break even this S&P. Get out of that one. I'm going to give the NASDAQ the benefit of the doubt on trying to break long. And obviously, if the S&P can hold up, fine. But I don't want to be overexposed, double exposed on these two. These are both going to do roughly the same thing today. There's no point in taking a double loss. I'll take a break even on one and a loss if I need to on that one. But just can't get started today, can it? Either it will kick off or it won't, but I'm not going to push it. Right, I'm going to leave it there today because there's nothing much else happening. So if you're on the ORBs, up to you what you do with them, but I would be reducing your risk a little bit because we don't seem to be getting anywhere. This Dow Jones, if this breaks this low, I think this is probably going to go, the Dow. So this is the 4th, just before I go, this is the 4th hit on the Dow today. So that low is basically what we're trying to get through. Yeah. So we've hit it, we've hit it, we've hit it, we've hit it, we hit it again, bounced. Look at the wicks here, the amount of buying that is going on. Yeah, this market is buying the crap out of this thing at the moment. Every push down, it's buying it back, buying it back. Wicks to the downside. Look at this, wicks to the downside. It's not, there is orders sitting here constantly just buying up Dow stocks. Either these sellers that are trying really hard to push this down are going to have a massive flurry, break that low, and it's going to flush, or they're going to give up, flip long, and we're going to pop out the top and come up and challenge yesterday's high. At the moment, it just looks like the buyers are just totally in control of this market at the minute, which you can see from the other stocks is what's happening on the S&P and the NASDAQ. But again, just not enough of them, is there, today? So just be a bit careful. It just looks like it might be a little bit of a rotational day, which, if it is going to be a rotation day, you're just going to get chopped up. Every time it starts to go down, you're going to short it. It's not going to get far enough. It's going to come back and it's going to kick you in the arse. So pick a direction, try and run it. If it doesn't run, stop. Come back tomorrow when we've got some more volume. Right, I'll leave it there. Anything you need, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be in Telegram. Well, anything you need, let me know in Telegram, because that's where I'll be. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time for the Frankfurt session, and obviously tomorrow afternoon for the US. Dow's going. Bye. Goodbye. That's a triple rejection of that low. Buyers are buying it, obviously, because it's going up. Yeah, so I'll be back. So we'll analyze the Australian market tomorrow. We'll see what the Aussie's done, and then it's just basically probably very much the same as today. We'll be looking at the charts going, this isn't moving, is it? Because it's FOMC. Nothing's going to go on until FOMC tomorrow night. So we'll be preparing for FOMC and just seeing where it goes, see if there's any news. All right. So have a good one. Anything you need, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow in London or Frankfurt or New York or both. Have a good one.